Welcome to my channel. Try to hear the latest story.
My girlfriend insisted I apologize to her male best friend for upsetting him. I agreed. I visited his home and, in front of his wife, said, "I'm truly sorry. I'm sorry I kept quiet about the affair you had last summer. I should have never hidden that truth for you." My girlfriend, Lisa, has a best friend named Ethan. Their bond is legendary, a mutual admiration society where they're the only members, endlessly praising each other's brilliance. Ethan is married to a kind, reserved woman named Nora, who watches their dynamic with the tired patience of a librarian overseeing two rowdy kids trading clever jabs and calling it friendship. I've always felt like an outsider in my own relationship. Ethan's input is required for every choice, from the type of tea we drink to the places we vacation. He has a key to our apartment, a just-in-case privilege Lisa demanded, and he uses it to barge in without warning. He's smug, patronizing, and has a knack for disguising insults as helpful suggestions. Lisa, in turn, defends his every misstep with a fervent devotion that's both bewildering and infuriating. Last summer, I became the reluctant guardian of a secret that shifted the entire balance of our little trio. Lisa forced me to join Ethan for a guy's night out, a torturous ordeal I was supposed to enjoy. After several costly drinks I paid for, Ethan, loosened by alcohol and arrogance, confessed he was cheating on his wife. He chuckled about it, reveling in the thrill of his betrayal. He saw me as a harmless, unassuming guy, Lisa's steady, inconsequential boyfriend. The next morning, a frantic, hungover Ethan called, pleading with me to erase his confession from my memory. He begged me to keep it from everyone, especially Lisa and Nora. I agreed. It wasn't my role to unravel his life. But I'm a man who believes in the concept of mutually assured destruction. I didn't view the secret as a burden. I saw it as leverage, tucked away for a moment I hoped I'd never need to use. That moment arrived last Tuesday. I had committed an unforgivable offense. I hurt Ethan's feelings. My crime? I'd politely asked him to text before using his key to enter our apartment, as he'd walked in on me fresh out of the shower the previous day. The reaction was apocalyptic. Lisa accused me of being a petty, insecure man trying to undermine her closest friendship. Ethan played the role of the wounded poet, claiming he felt rejected and criticized in our home. This led to a theatrical, tear-filled confrontation last night. Lisa and Ethan, a united front of exaggerated grievance, sat me down for a reckoning. "You owe him an apology, David," Lisa said, her arms folded. "A genuine, heartfelt apology. You made him feel like an outsider in his best friend's life." I stared at them. The sheer, dramatic ridiculousness of it was almost poetic. "Fine," I said, my voice heavy with feigned exhaustion. But a simple, "I'm sorry" wasn't enough. Lisa demanded a grand act of contrition. "Not here," she insisted. "You need to go to his house. You need to apologize in his home, in front of his wife, so Nora knows you respect the connection we all share." She wanted witnesses. She wanted me humiliated before another woman, cementing my place as the subordinate in their little group. A slow, dangerous grin spread across my face. It was the most perfectly ironic setup I'd ever been handed. She'd given me the key, the stage, and the audience. "Okay," I said, my tone dripping with mock defeat. "I'll go to his house and apologize. It's the right thing to do." Lisa's face lit up with victorious satisfaction. Ethan smirked, basking in his triumph. They thought they were about to witness my capitulation. They had no idea they were about to star in a public reckoning. Update 1. The apology was set for Saturday evening. Lisa spent the 2 days prior coaching me on what to say, a masterclass in self-important drivel. I was to admit my jealousy, laud Ethan's unwavering loyalty to our relationship, and vow to be more welcoming and trusting moving forward. I nodded along, memorizing my lines like an actor preparing for a performance. On Saturday, I made one critical call before we left. I phoned Nora, Ethan's wife. "Hi, Nora, it's David," I said, my voice warm with calculated friendliness. "Just checking we're still good for 7 tonight. I really want to clear things up with Ethan and ensure we're all on the same page. It's so important to me that we're one big, happy family." Nora, a genuinely warm person, sounded delighted. "Of course, David, we'll see you then." My audience was secured. We arrived at their house at 7 sharp. Lisa was practically buzzing with smug anticipation. She was about to see me humbled. Ethan opened the door, his face radiating magnanimous forgiveness. He was ready to graciously accept my groveling. Nora welcomed us in, offering drinks, unaware of the drama about to unfold. We gathered in their living room. The air was heavy with tense expectation. Lisa gave me a sharp nod, signaling the start of the performance. I stood and faced Ethan. I took a deep, dramatic breath. Ethan, I began, my voice thick with rehearsed sincerity. We're here because I owe you an apology. I've been unfair and haven't been a true friend to you. Lisa beamed. Ethan puffed up, ready to receive his victory. You've been a constant in our lives, I continued, turning to include Nora in my gaze. And I haven't always valued the bond you share with Lisa. For that, I'm truly sorry. I stepped to the center of the room, near the fireplace. Then I did it. I dropped to one knee. Lisa let out a small gasp, thrilled by what she thought was my ultimate surrender. But I didn't look at Ethan. I locked eyes with Nora, her kind, unsuspecting face. Nora, I said, my voice now clear and resolute. My real apology is to you, because the worst thing I've done, the biggest mistake, was keeping a secret from you. Nora's smile wavered, confusion creeping in. Ethan's face froze. Lisa looked like she'd been struck. I'm so sorry, Nora, I said, my voice now raw with conviction. I'm sorry I didn't tell you about the affair Ethan had last summer with a woman from his PR firm. I'm sorry I didn't tell you about the hotel rooms he paid for in cash or the burner email he boasted about. He told me everything one drunken night and made me swear to keep it secret. And I did. I should have never kept that from you. That was my failure as a friend, and I'm begging your forgiveness. The silence that followed was absolute, a vacuum where sound itself seemed to die. It was the quiet of a bomb exploding in a sealed vault. Nora stared at me, her face blank with shock. Then, slowly, she turned to her husband. Ethan was ghostly pale, his eyes wide with primal fear. Lisa broke first. What are you doing? She screamed, leaping to her feet. He's lying. He's making this up to spite me. I didn't even glance at her. I stayed on one knee, my eyes fixed on Nora. I pulled out my phone and opened a single screenshot, holding it out for Nora to see. It was from the morning after Ethan's confession. After he begged me to stay silent, I'd sent him a text to lock in a record. The message read, I won't tell anyone about your affair, but you owe me. His reply was short and damning. Thanks, man. It's done. Never mention it again. Nora looked at the screenshot. She saw her husband's name on the screen. And in that moment, she knew. She knew it was true. I stood. I surveyed the chaos I'd unleashed. Lisa was shrieking at me. Ethan was stammering, trying to cobble together a denial that would never hold. And Nora? Nora sat silently, a single tear tracing down her cheek. My apology is done, I said quietly. Then I turned, walked out, and shut the door on the explosion. Update 2. The immediate fallout was a frenzied battle fought through texts and voicemails. I drove home, blocked Lisa's and Ethan's numbers, and watched the chaos unfold from afar. The first wave came from Lisa's friends, no doubt rallied by her hysterical calls from Ethan's driveway. Their messages were a mix of outrage and bewilderment. What you did was cruel, David. Why would you invent such a story? I responded to each with the same devastating weapon. The screenshot of my text exchange with Ethan. No explanation, just the image. The angry messages stopped abruptly, replaced by silence. The truth is a powerful silencer. The second wave came from Lisa, through a flurry of desperate emails. Her tone cycled through the stages of grief for her relationship. First, denial. You're a liar, and I'll never forgive you for this disgusting fabrication. Then anger. I hope you're proud of yourself. You've destroyed everything. Then bargaining. If you admit you made it up, we can still fix this. Then despair. I can't believe this is happening. Finally, a warped acceptance. Fine. Maybe Ethan slipped up, but you didn't have to ruin his life to get back at me. I didn't respond to any of them. The real story, the one that mattered, came unexpectedly. 2 days later, Nora emailed me. Her message was brief but profound. David, I don't know whether to thank you or resent you, but you told me the truth, which is more than my husband has done in a year. I found the hidden bank statements. It was all true. He's not living here anymore. I've hired a lawyer. I just wanted you to know. And I'm sorry for what Lisa and Ethan put you through. You deserve better. That email was my validation. I hadn't just exacted revenge. I'd performed a necessary, if brutal, act of honesty. With my moral ground secured, I tackled the practical fallout. Lisa was still in my apartment. I had my lawyer draft a formal eviction notice, giving her the required 30 days to leave. The lease was in my name alone, and I wanted the process airtight. She turned the apartment into a battlefield, blasting music at all hours and leaving spiteful notes on the counter. It was petty and sad. I ignored it, staying at a friend's place to let her simmer in her own toxicity. Her final act was an attempt to steal from me. The day before her move-out deadline, I stopped by with a friend to check on her packing. I caught her trying to load my high-end TV and speakers into her car. I didn't raise my voice. I just stood there, arms crossed, and said, "That's not yours, Lisa. I paid for half," she yelled. "No, you didn't," I replied calmly. "I have the bank statement showing I paid in full. Put it back, or I'll call the police and show them the receipt, adding theft to your recent achievements." Defeated, she returned the TV. The next day, she was gone. I walked into my apartment, and for the first time in years, it was calm. It was peaceful. It was mine. Final update. It's been 6 months since I knelt and delivered my apology. The dust has settled, and my life is better than I could have dreamed. The consequences for Lisa and Ethan, however, have been absolute and permanent. Ethan's world is in ashes. Nora, armed with proof of his affair and financial deceit, was merciless in the divorce. She took the house, a hefty share of his assets, and custody of their cat. Ethan now lives in a cramped rented apartment, paying alimony and wallowing in misery. His reputation in their social circle is ruined. He's no longer the charismatic star. He's the disgraced cheater, exposed for all to see. As for Lisa, her life has crumbled slowly and painfully. After being evicted from my apartment, she turned to Ethan for support, but he, consumed by his own collapsing life, had no room for her drama. Their epic friendship, built on mutual flattery and disdain for me, couldn't withstand reality's harsh glare. They reportedly had a massive falling out, each blaming the other for their downfall. With no fiancé, no best friend, and no home, Lisa had to move back with her parents. Her attempts to paint me as the villain fell flat. The screenshot of Ethan's text was irrefutable proof I hadn't lied. She was revealed as someone who not only enabled her friend's betrayal, but demanded I apologize for questioning his disrespect. She lost all credibility. Last I heard, she's still with her parents, working a low-level PR job, her once glamorous life a fading memory. She tried to punish me for a perceived slight and lost everything in the process. As for me, I'm flourishing. The first thing I did after reclaiming my apartment was change the locks. A symbolic act of reclaiming my space and setting boundaries that will never be crossed again. I've thrown myself into my work, and the tranquility in my personal life has fueled my creativity and productivity. I also reconnected with Nora. A few months after the incident, she reached out to thank me again. We met for coffee just as friends. We shared a unique bond. We'd both been betrayed by the same two people. We talked for hours, open and honest. That coffee led to dinner a week later, and dinner has grown into something more. It's new, it's cautious, but it's genuine. It's built on shared pain and a commitment to truth. We both know the sting of deception, and we're determined never to inflict it on each other. Lisa demanded I kneel and beg. She wanted a display of my submission. She got her spectacle, but it was her own public downfall. She thought she was directing the show, but I'd written the final act. She wanted me to apologize for wounding her best friend's ego. Instead, I apologized for keeping his secrets. And in doing so, I freed two people, Nora and myself.